Who do we have on the art side?
Well, we are so blessed to have Robert Simpson with us today. He is the founder and artistic director of the Grammy Award-winning Houston Chamber Choir, which also has a new digital stage, which he's going to be on talking about. He's got a series called To Everything a Season, and his upcoming show, which is on Sunday, is A Time to Journey Inward, and you can catch it out digitally, and it's I think we're going to hear about it, and I think it's going to be really special. I think, all of us working in the arts have had to find new creative ways to continue to function, and going digital is just the way it's been, and I'm really looking forward to his the performance on Sunday and the conversation today.
Wow.
Didn't Bob do something at the Heritage Society?
Yeah, he did actually. I think he's probably going to talk about that on the show today because it was such a great experience. Allison Bell, the executive director of the Heritage Society, actually goes to Christ Church Cathedral, where Mr. Simpson is is in charge of the choir over there. And I think what's neat is that he found a great way to kind of connect history and also the arts and that performance piece they did over there. And he'll explain, because I definitely want to make sure he tells us about this too. I know he'll explain kind of how they did it, how they put it all together. So it was very successful. And of course, Heritage Society, I serve on their board and very active with them. So anytime we can bring people to the park, anytime that we can get people there to learn about how great the park is, that is certainly a good thing, because we need the visibility and exposure like every nonprofit does.
It is a special place full of houses that you won't see anywhere else, that have a lot of history, and they're just steps from each other.
Absolutely. The history of Houston, really from 1823 with our old place house all the way until 1905 with the Sedai House, just really paints an interesting picture of the who's who of Houston, including William Marsh Rice's house, Jack Yates's house. So all these historic homes that are there. Well, you know what? Well, without further ado, let's just kind of jump right in and we'll get right on talking to Mr. Simpson. He's right here.
Thank you, Mr. McKinney. I am so excited to be here today with the founder and artistic director of the Grammy Award-winning Houston Chamber Choir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Heidi. Good to be here.
We're delighted to have you.
And, it was great, too, because Robert Simpson and I got a chance to connect over at the Heritage Society. Tell audience members what y'all were doing there, because this was a big deal. I think it was, y'all had drones and y'all had professional videographers. It was a while ago. It was last year in November, but tell folks what y'all were doing there.
Well, thanks for remembering that, and it was fun to be at the Heritage Society, and we were really glad for their hospitality. We were launching our year-long series called To Everything a Season, which is a digital stage. Singing, when the pandemic hit, became identified as a troubling activity, and so we had to invent a way to do our music, our art, in a very safe way. And the way we have come up with is to record an audio track, which we do socially distanced with masks in a large space, and then we take that audio track to a beautiful locale and lip sync to it while the photographs, the videos, and even drones are flying over, recording us visually. And then we put them together in the studio and we have our recording. And that was the first of our 5 concerts for this year, Time to Give Thanks, that was just before Thanksgiving.
It was great, and I think it was very well received, and people really enjoyed it. I just think it's a creative way, perhaps leading the forefront of how we can start re-envisioning these type of performances during these very challenging times. And I think that's also important to kind of mention. Tell listeners real quick how the Grammy Award came about, because this is a big deal for Houston. It really is. I remember when the Houston Grand Opera won a Grammy, right? We were talking about this for years, and it's just an example of, these great performing arts organizations that exist in our city. Some of them are unsung, some of them have been around for, in y'all's case, 25 years. Golly, it is. Tell folks how that happened.
Well, it happened really as a result of a recording that we made that wasn't to be a recording. We had decided that we wanted to do the complete choral works of Maurice Duruflé, a French composer.
Yes.
And we had the opportunity to do it at the organ hall at the Shepherd School of Music at Rice University with the wonderful organist on the Shepherd School faculty, Kevin.
Yes. There's such a great space. And y'all performed there numerous times. I've seen y'all at the Shepherd School, for example, but to be in that space with the organ, keep going.
Yeah. So Kevin Cowan joined with us on that occasion, and we had a wonderful experience. And I realized at the time that we were doing this that something special was happening, and I would like to come back to it and make a recording. And that's what we did at the end of the season. And that recording then received a lot of press and was nominated for a Grammy. And then January of 2020, we went to Los Angeles, several members of the choir, my wife and I, and we sat there there waiting for that moment. And when the Best Choral Performance Grammy was announced, it was the Houston Chamber Choir.
Oh, my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Isn't that great? Oh.
There is no greater award you could get. That is absolutely fabulous.
And I think it's been wonderful, too, because I'm sure that new audience members now, you may be on the radar of some newer folks when all of a sudden you win these kind of awards, right? It brings a little bit of attention to what y'all do, although y'all been doing over 25 years for a quarter of a century, right? But had there been any other opportunities that have come out of that? I mean, and also, too, that was obviously really close to when the world started to change shortly after. So, I mean, that's another challenge.
Yes, that's right. Yes, we did have interviews from as far away as China and Hong Kong, but we were about to start in on rehearsing for a great opportunity. We'd been invited to be one of 24 international choirs to perform in New Zealand in July, and we were about to prepare, but as we got into it, they canceled that, and so our opportunity to do that was gone. So we went from the Grammy on the mountaintop down to the valley of having our season completely shut down and our wonderful once-in-a-lifetime trip to New Zealand canceled. So we just picked ourselves up, and now we're doing something completely different and having a great time with it.
Well, you know, and I always think about the Houston Chamber Choir when I also think about your beautiful office space, right? I mean, what better office, in my opinion, to be than this historic 1893, cathedral? Talk about a little bit about your space that you office out of.
Christchurch Cathedral is my home base as a musician. I'm the canon for music there, and I've been there since 1993. And when I came to Houston from Atlanta, it was my dream to start a professional choir. And the dean of the cathedral at that time, Walter Taylor, was very encouraging. And from that point, 25 years to this day, the cathedral has been a very important foundation for all that I do. And so we have an office at the cathedral, although the chamber choir is a completely independent secular organization. We are very, very grateful for all the support that we get from the congregation and from the current dean, Barclay Thompson.
Yes, Mr. Thompson. But Reverend Thompson's been actually on the bus, the Houston History bus. He's seen the bus, been on the bus, and he said great things about it. So I remember making those connections, and I think we'll probably have him on the show one day, Heidi. I think we really
look forward
should.
to that. Is the Grammy in the office there?
It's not. It's at my home. I wanted it to be in the office, but there's nobody there to enjoy it. So
that's true. Or safe. It's probably safer at home.
That's true.
Keep an eye on it. So how exciting. I'm just so proud of y'all, and then more importantly, what you do for Houston. We'll talk about Time to Journey Inward, because this is exciting. It's coming up this weekend, and I want Houstonians to know more about this show.
Well, this is the third in our season of Digital Stage. It is a concert that we will turn to sacred music, which we don't do exclusively, but we do often. But this is music that has a very interior life. We have been separated for a long period of time in isolation, but this is a way for us to sing music that really brings the soul to the front, and to give ourselves a chance to bind together as people without feeling that separation. We are looking forward to doing great sacred music that will be recorded just as I described at one location, and then a virtual video will be made in another location. And this will be the prelude to our final concert on May 9th, which is going to be a big homecoming. It was designed to be the end of our 25th anniversary season. We're postponing all of the celebrations to next year, but we still will have a homecoming feel at the end of our season on May 9th, with a premiere of a commissioned work by Mark Buller, a wonderful Houston composer who we're very anxious to sing more of his music.
I'm sure all of the singers are really delighted to have this opportunity. I know how singing raises your vibration and is really a great way to make yourself feel better. I heard you mention a connection to the soul. I absolutely believe that it has that power. It's super important. So they're singing and they're still able to do it. You're just going to put it all together. Like we pieced together our holiday card, which is right next to you, and we photographed everybody separately. We made a video where it looked like everybody was together, but they weren't. And it's just where we're at right now, but it does feel good to still be able to be finding a way to work as a group and performing and everything.
Yes.
It's beautiful that you're doing it. I really look forward to experiencing this.
Well, thank you. Yes, all of our musicians are professionally trained, and so these are people who have spent their lives training to be vocalists, and they are wonderful soloists, but they also have the heart of a collaborative artist, and so they come together really to find their music increased by the participation of others around us.
It's a different
that's one of the great
experience.
one of the great things about choirs from whatever level, from elementary school. My wife is a fantastic director of children's choirs, all the way up through professional choirs. At the heart, it is a community. At the heart, it is about being surrounded by like-minded people who care as much as you do and who love the feeling that they get, not just from doing their own music, but from hearing it come into them from those around. So it was a great loss when we couldn't come together, when we had to stop rehearsing. And now that we are able to rehearse, it has been a huge, huge benefit to all of us. And we look forward to doing more of what we're doing, and we'll always keep the lessons that we've learned now and take them forward into future seasons.
Yeah, I think it has. I think it's taught a lot of nonprofits how to think forward and to kind of maybe, like I said, get a little more involved in the digital age. And that's always been a challenge, not just for the artists and the nonprofits maybe have limited budgets, but also for the audience members maybe find y'all, because a lot of times the arts has a good mixture of audience members, right? We've got the young hip folks, and then we've got the seasoned, folks that support the arts since the very beginning, right? So we love being able now to find new ways to bring art out there, and it has a digital footprint now. This music lives, on the web and on the internet and on places like that for all folks to be able to enjoy. And you mentioned your wife involved with your passion too with music as well. Where did y'all meet, or how did that connection happen? It's so wonderful.
Well, that takes us back to Atlanta, and my wife came over from the Soviet Union, and she didn't speak much English, and she had been a wonderfully successful choral director in the Soviet Union, but knew that there was absolutely no opportunity for her to pick up where her career had left off. But she needed to sing, and so she came and sang at the Episcopal Cathedral at St. Philip's Cathedral in Atlanta, where I was director of music, and we got to know each other that way.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so music brought us together.
I love that.
That's beautiful. I think a lot of musicians tend to be married.
Mm-hmm.
Same with artists. I think, you understand each other better, and sometimes the hours are unusual, and it's a whole... And that need to perform, I think you kind of can't not do that. You have to sing, and you understand you both do. Do you sing together, just the two of you at home?
We don't sing together, but we'd make music together. I'll play and she'll sing, and we'll look through music together. And
what do you have at home?
A piano.
A piano.
Yeah.
No big organ with pipes at home.
Nope. I started life as an organist and thought I was going to be the great concert organist of the generation, and realized that my calling really was to conduct, and so I've left that behind.
Yeah, well, the organ music is unbelievably amazing for its ability to rouse your emotions.
Oh gosh, yeah. There's nothing like it.
So, do you have a podcast?
Yes, we do.
Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. It's called With One Accord, and we started it in the early days of the shutdown, early in March, because our concerts had been suspended, but we wanted to keep touch with our audience. And so we started every day of the week to bring a piece from the previous seasons or two of the chamber choir, and I would do a little introduction, and then this piece would be played. And we did that through August, and then I realized that there are wonderful opportunities for us to hear choirs from around the country. And so now we have opened it up so that we are hosting choirs from Los Angeles and Boston and Vancouver and Florida, Miami. And every Monday, it's Music Monday, and I host that. Then on Fridays, we have two segments every Friday. One would either be Behind the Music, and St. John Flynn, who some listeners will recall,
for sure.
Is our host and interviews people who are close to the chamber choir, composers, performers, guest conductors, singers in the choir. And then once a month, April Harris, who is our managing office manager, hosts a segment called Behind the Music. And there she talks to people in the community who are making music, directors of other choirs, people who have been important in the choral community. So every Monday and Friday at noon, the Chamber Choirs with One Accord is launched.
That's wonderful.
And you can get information, by the way, if you go to Instagram. I'm looking at the Instagram page right now at HOU Chamber Choir. It's wonderful. It's very well done with lots of great video clips, and it tells you a lot of this. And I just love the idea of St. John Flynn, the partnership there, because we all know and love him from the airwaves in the day.
Long time on the radio.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, this is great. Well, like I said, Houston, stay tuned, because this Sunday, March 21st, A Time to Journey Inward will be the featured event happening. So definitely, where can people go to get more information about everything that y'all do?
Go to our website, HoustonChamberChoir.org.
Excellent. Well, Robert Simpson, thank you so much for being on the Houston Hour, for joining us here, and we really appreciate that, and we're looking forward to this upcoming Sunday because it's going to be a great concert, so we're going to be tuning in as well, and so happy to have you on the Houston Hour airwaves.
Thank you so much.
Good luck as you close out your season.
Thank you very much.
Best wishes.
Well, we're going to now break for some more commercials right now, and then we'll come back to more of the Houston Hour on 90.1 KPFT.